Afternoon. What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's been a while. Before we start, we're starting off our afternoon with it's Palm Tree CBD. It's an indica. It's CBD dominant over THC, and we're pairing that today with a lovely Bacardi 10-year-old rum uh, with some orange bitters and Jamaican ginger beer for something called a dark and stormy, I believe, sort of an orange version of it. Cheers. It's a lovely Sunday afternoon. It's been a little while, so I figured I would. I think this is live everywhere. Yes. I thought I would kind of catch up. I've been There's been a few things happening lately that I would love to share. If you're around, please feel free to chat away. Make sure everything is there. Been a little while. Haven't been reading a ton. There's been other things that I've been finding to fill my time. For the gaming side of my life, I'm close to. Got one more issue coming, and then there's a single issue that I'm missing. It doesn't have a game in it, I don't think. Old Aries magazine. Um, for those of you who have followed a while and maybe watched some of the gaming videos and things, uh, Aries magazine, game from the 80s, Tim Truman doing tons of art for a lot of the games and just in the magazine in general. A fantastic series of games. There's a few that are better than others. I'm hoping to do a video kind of wrapping up all of the games now that the collection is almost done. One of the ones I got recently, Damocles Mission, where you're exploring an alien spacecraft, and it's a paragraph game. So as you're rolling for success, you're turning over these tiles, and it gives you the information of what the room is, what paragraphs to read, and you're just exploring it, and you're trying to figure out what it is. That's really all the information that you're given, and I think that's the best way to get into it. You don't really know what to expect. Are we supposed to? Is this a spacecraft that has been destroyed? Is this a spacecraft or a vessel that has aliens on it still? Are they friendly? Are they hostile? What do we need to do here? What do we need to figure out? And as you uncover the paragraphs, you start making sense of where it is. The good thing about it is you get to choose your crew members. So you get to build your team of up to 6 people. You have a set amount of time, so like a 200 value, that you then divide the amount of crew by that number, and that's how many days you have to kind of complete the mission, which is getting the Discovery to dock with the vessel, running through the maze, what turns into a bit of a maze of tiles, and get back within that time allotment. Then you get to check out your victory points. The interesting twist with this game, and there's many, but the one that I found I really liked, because I played 2 times in a row one night. When you have that mission, it gives you a number. It's either a positive or a negative number. So for your next game, you add or subtract that number from your 200 base value, and then you have a new number to divide your crew. So you can, again, if you start having to subtract because you've done so well, you have to start subtracting from that 200. If you've done horribly, as I did with the first one, I think there was 10 different victory conditions. Mine was the 10th. That's how bad I did. I got to add, I don't remember what it was, 180 value, 120, somewhere around there I got to add. So for my next mission, I had more days to explore now that I had the feel for the game again. I've played it. I've played it a while back. But I haven't, it's been probably about a year since I've played it. And when I did play it, I just played it the one time. That second playthrough where everything started clicking for me was just an incredible experience, and it just reaffirmed why I love these games so much again. Um, give me 1 second here. Let me just see what happens when I do this. So that was taking up my time. There's another one. It's a similar paragraph laying out tiles kind of game. Um, Citadel of Blood that should be coming. I don't know when. Hopefully right away. Yeah, no, it is happening there. It says there's two. It says there's viewers. For some reason on my screen here on the computer, it's not telling me a lot. So whatever. I think it's working. Anyway, sorry about that. Citadel of Blood coming. Similar system, laying out tiles, exploring a building, paragraphs to uncover the story as it goes. Yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to digging into that. So that has been taking up some time, going back and playing some games. I did a proposal for a gaming convention that's coming up in April, maybe. I don't remember exactly when. Maybe it's actually in June. Now that I'm thinking, it's actually probably later than that. So hoping to run a couple of games, one of them being Cave Evil War Cults, one of them being Dungeon Degenerates, and I also proposed Mushroom Eaters. So two games that you can still get, even though War Cults it's kind of nearing the end, and one that's out of print, but just an interesting experience. So I'd like to try running some games. I hope some people are interested in playing, especially Cave Evil, War Cults. It'd be great to introduce a group of new players to that game and see how that goes. Been actually watching a few things. We're watching Umbrella Academy, and I've got to say that it didn't really click with me. We're on episode 4. Halfway through episode 4, it started clicking for me. I'm not loving it. I'm not hating it. We're still watching it. But at this point, I remember why, because I had the graphic novels and they were some of the books that left the house. I'm starting to remember why that would have been the case. This story is just not, it's just not grabbing me. I just find it, um, there's some interesting elements to it, but it's not, I don't know, it's just not grabbing me. We're going to finish it because I don't like to not finish these things because you never know. I like the idea of all of a sudden a big twist, and the whole thing kind of turns tables on you. So watched a horror movie which I would highly recommend to people called Hereditary. First time director whose name I'm blanking on. He's got another movie coming out later this year. Midsummer, I think is what it's called. Sommer. Hereditary was mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing, and that's all that I want to say about it. I don't even want to talk about it. If you haven't seen a trailer, don't even watch a trailer. Just go right into it because that's kind of how I went into it. I had seen one trailer, um, and then I watched the movie. I felt it still had a great deal of impact. But if you haven't seen a trailer, just check it out. Just give it a shot. I think it's on Netflix now here in North America. Highly recommended. And the other thing that we watched last night, my wife and I, we watched Bad Reputation. This is a copy. I just went to a record convention this afternoon looking for these records. Unfortunately, this one had a bit of water damage and it peeled off on the front, but whatever. The price was right, and the record itself is in unbelievable condition. I've been a huge Joan Jett fan for I don't know how long. My whole life, it feels like. I still have her other records upstairs that I had when I was a kid. Uh, one of those artists that I just couldn't possibly even think of getting rid of her records. The documentary really just floored me. I had no idea to the degree to which she was embedded in kind of UK punk rock, even as much as being friends with Sid and Nancy, and unfortunately doing some of the things that they were doing, which weren't so positive. After the Runaways disbanded, she kind of had a downward slope and did a bunch of stuff. It doesn't go into super detail, which is one of the things that really made the documentary phenomenal. There's a lot of early footage of Joan giving interviews, and she would often get asked questions about sex and that sort of thing, and she had said to herself early on, if I answer this question, what it's like to be a woman in rock, or those kind of questions, I will never stop answering those kind of questions. So she would go out of her way to talk about the music and how important rock and roll was to her and how important performing was to her, and just that piece of it translated so well to the documentary, because there's stuff that they don't touch on, because it's not about that. It's about the music. It's about getting to where she got to and succeeding, and some of the stories, as you can imagine, are just brutal, especially the Runaways stories, where they were what, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. They were teenagers when that band was going, and some of the shit that went down. She's talking about having ribs cracked because people are throwing batteries at her, bleeding from the head because people are throwing beer bottles at her. The whole idea that women shouldn't be playing rock and they shouldn't be playing this kind of music. Um, but like I said, the amount of other, especially punk rock bands that she was involved in throughout her career and even up to this day is absolutely mind blowing. The interviews and the people that are represented in this documentary to talk about her, I love her even more after watching that documentary. And I've had a deep love for Pretenders and Joan Jett and bands like that, um, for my whole life. But it's I cannot recommend it enough. Really, really great. Her music has always been kick-ass, except for maybe in kind of the really poofy hair phase. Maybe there was a little bit of dodginess in there, but the early albums are fucking incredible. So if you're a fan, or even if you just know the tune "I Love Rock and Roll," really check out Joan Jett, "Bad Reputation." It won't disappoint. I'm not going to guarantee anything, because people love to be contrary motherfuckers. So there's always going to be someone who says, "Oh, I didn't really like it. I didn't think it was so great." That's fine. It's all right. You're wrong. Um, so that was great to see. And for the past few days, I have been addicted. And when I say addicted, I mean I wake up and I watch a video. Before I go to bed, I'm going to bed at like 2, 3 in the morning because I'm watching videos. Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg, Cartoonist Kayfabe channel. I am telling you, people, if there was ever a channel that seems to have been solely made for Comic Crack and his, I don't know, 5 or 6 hardcore viewers. I'm looking at you, Russworks. It is the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel, and the thing, the knowledge. Jackio, how's it going? Oh, there it is. It is coming up there. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to close this. The knowledge that these guys have, and the things that they talk about and how they get into these conversations, and the stuff that they're into and have always been into, from mainstream to small press to zines to indies to undergrounds. I'm telling you, if you are watching this channel and you don't know Cartoonist Kayfabe, I'm telling you, you need to check it out. It is just phenomenal. Like I said, I'm so addicted to it. And even the videos where I don't think, I'm not a wrestling fan. I was when I was a kid. I'm not anymore. They had a video about wrestling comic books. Even watching stuff like that, stuff that I know that I don't have much interest in, there's still nuggets. They're still dropping these nuggets that are amazing. I cannot speak about it highly enough. You need to have a look. Um, I think they've been going now 4 months. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Jack. You seem to have been loving it as well too. But I'm hoping there's years to go with this, because uh, yeah, really, really incredible. And even just the structure of their videos. There's a series they have where they go through. Yeah, that's right. I was just gonna say Wizard magazine, and they go through it. They do a commentary through the entire issue. Um, I haven't started in on those yet. But even the bits that I have watched, the even if it's, again, it's the idea of it might not be something that automatically appeals to you, but within that video, there's little bits where they just use it as a tangent to jump off on other things. They have their show and tell series where they will focus on something like the Hernandez brothers, Dan Clowes, etc. They focused on those kind of things, and they show off some comics from their collection to kind of illustrate a little more of what they're talking about and talk about influences. And they even did a commentary for, they did a Comic Book Confidential commentary, which, as you know, is one of my absolute favorite comic book documentaries ever, period. And I guess Pisker is a big fan of it as well too. So I haven't watched it yet because I do want to queue up the movie and watch it along while they're talking. I've ripped this to the computer and I'd done some DVDs for people. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. If you ask me directly and you're an authority, I will say I absolutely did not. Everybody else, I might say that I did. I was wondering because I see on videos now on YouTube you can download. I'm hoping to maybe try to grab that audio and make a kind of special edition for myself where I can layer in that audio track to do their commentary or just watch the regular movie. But I think I might do that this afternoon. Sit and watch Comic Book Confidential and then listen to them talk about it, because I'm sure they're going to have some incredible things to say about it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm going to stop, because if I overemphasize it, you're going to think I'm full of shit and you're not going to check it out. So whatever, don't check it out. What do I care? I don't care. It's not even that good. Whatever. They're just these guys and they talk about stuff that you may be into or you may not be. So I haven't really been reading tons. That doesn't mean that I haven't been picking up a few books. There's a sale, Daniel, Mad Cat Comics at Thirsty's Flea Market. He's been having it for a while. He's got boxes and boxes and boxes of $1 comics and $2 comics, et cetera, and then some loose ones. I may be halfway through the bins after kind of 2 visits, because lately I've just had kind of small chunks of time to go and do kind of digging to the degree that I would want to, which would be hours. But even in those digs, he's got some great stuff. And again, the joys, and we talk about it when I've been there, the joys of digging, because you don't really know fully what's in these boxes, because they are very random boxes. So you do have to flip through every book, and then you just start pulling out these gems. And some of the stuff that I found has been really, really entertaining. Holy shit, hold the phone. That's Dr. Monkeybot, everybody. It's Adam. How you doing? Nice to see you, even though I just see myself. So I have been picking stuff up, and I wasn't going to, I don't know, I didn't really want this to be just me showing comics, but it's going to turn out like that, because now we've gotten the other stuff out of the way. Let's just get into the meat of it. There's a couple of different stacks. If there's stuff to say, I will say. If not, I won't. But the thing is, because he's starting to clear out his kind of storage space and bringing these boxes to his booth, it's just been great to show me the meat. It's been great to go through those boxes and just see what the hell comes out of them. So I've kind of, sort of, not really organized them. Let's go with these magazines first, shall we? Adam, you did see these. Yeah, you've seen some of these for sure. But these were from Book Fair down by my office. The Masters of Terror. When I was looking in the CLZ app, there's only 2 of these issues, and I got both of them. I managed to grab both of them. You know, comic anthology magazine. I'm sorry, excuse me. And I was really surprised. I mean, I'd never heard of it, but that's just me. And sometimes on stuff like this, I'm just out to lunch. I don't know this world as much. I haven't I don't have the experience with it. But when I put this online, the kind of, even from guys like Sleepy Reader, were just had never seen it before, so I didn't really realize, I guess, and I probably still don't fully realize or respect what it is I have in my hands here. But they're fantastic. Really, hey, they go for big money. Um, that one says, I think it says $7, and this one was what, 10 or something? 15. So 7 and 15, which again, because I hadn't seen them before and they looked fantastic, I snatched them up. And then this one is just stories in it. There's a little bit of art. Cosmos, I'd never seen this one around either. This is volume 1, number 4, and this was a $5 book. They just got a new collection in, which is where these magazines had come from. They had a whole bunch of stuff on the wall. 98% of it well out of my price range. Some beautiful books, some that would be upgrades for me, but they were just too much money, so I just looked from afar and admired them. So the stack from Mad Cat, Batman and Robin, Batman the Animated Series. I recently sold my DVD copies of those, and that money went straight to getting the you got some of the Cosmos run. Yeah, the covers are fantastic. It's ridiculous. I used that money to buy the Blu-ray version. The Blu-ray version comes with all the seasons. It comes with Mask of the Phantasm, and it comes with a movie Sub-Zero as well too. Um, I've always been a fan of that show. The animation in that, it's great starting to watch it again. Me and my son are starting to watch it again together. We watched it originally. Well, I mean, I watched it originally when it was on TV, and when he was young, we watched the whole series together. It's going to be great to sit and watch it again, even just seeing that transition of his art style, or their art style. I shouldn't say his. It's not just a Bruce Timm thing. The show is incredible. There's a new special feature, like a documentary, where they kind of look back at how it all started and how it all kind of grew, to which kind of surprised a lot of people. All the work that went into it. Incredible series. I'm slowly picking away at Batman Adventures, Gotham Adventures, and then Batman and Robin Adventures. And he had a couple of them in the bins. Issue number 2 and issue number 3. Um, I don't have. I only have 3 issues of this Batman and Robin Adventures series, but I'm really looking forward to it. Just really getting back into this animated Batman animated series style, which has always resonated with me. It's a very kind of clean. You can see the kind of Darwin Cook and that whole world influence in this stuff in Bruce Timm's style and things like that. There's a real kind of nice classic illustration style to everything that really appeals to me. A long time ago, Rasa had talked about an issue of the Silver Age DC Classics. He had a few of them in the bin, and I grabbed them because I have the one that Larasa was talking about. I think it was the Starro reprint. But they had about, I don't know, he had about 4 or 5 more, or even 6, and I just grabbed them, even if it's stuff that I'm not as into. I like the idea of kind of reprinting these old things, especially when you can find them for $1. So this is Sugar and Spike. This one is Adventure Comics number 247, the first appearance of the Legion of Superheroes. So there's that. And I do, you know, as much as it would be nice to have the original cover, I do like that they kind of offset it like this. So there's no, there's no chance of trying to rip someone off to show them to think they're buying something they're not. Green Lantern issue number 76, the team up of Green Lantern and Green Arrow, which is a classic run that I've never read. Not that I can start. If I did kind of dig into some of these because these single issues appeal to me, I would go definitely just with the graphic novel collection or a hardcover collection. This is one that I would like to read in its entirety, though. All the great things you hear about it. Showcase number 22, the first appearance of the Silver Age Green Lantern. So there you go. And the last two, I think, are both Batman. Detective Comics number 225, the first appearance of John Jones, Manhunter from Mars. And finally, for the Silver Age DC Classics, Detective Comics number 327, the first appearance of the New Look Batman. I think I'm only missing 2 more issues or something like that of this series, or so far as what the CLZ app says, which I do trust when it comes to things like DC and Marvel. There's other companies where they don't seem to even have the whole run. So I think I'm only 2 or 3 issues away from that, which will be great. Another thing that he had in the bins, no, missing the first issue, unfortunately, but he had 3 of 4. An anthology called Open Space, Discover an Entire Universe from Marvel Graphics. April 1990 is this first one. Charles DeLint, John Ridgway, Ray Lago. Who else pops up in these? Norm Brayfogle, Don Simpson, John Garcia, Paul Chadwick. Yeah, same names there, pretty much the same names there. So I haven't dug into this anthology called Open Space. So there's book 2, and I think there was only 4 books of this as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's book 3. And book 4. It was closed, and anything that looks like this I'm going to buy anyway. I was hoping that it was something more exciting. It's still an exciting thing. I have a couple of reprints of early Doctor Strange stuff. This one I've never seen before. It reprints the first 4 stories from Strange Tales. I was hoping because of this cover that it was going to be filled with Doctor Strange pinups, which would have been familiar. I'm reading and talking, which would have been phenomenal. But as it is, it's still great. It's still reprints of those. I do have them in another form. But with Doctor Strange, there's some things I don't mind doubling up and tripling up on. And with that in mind, we found another Mad Balls issue. Every time I see these now, I'm just buying them. They don't pop up that much, but I'm such a fan. This toy, this comic, has a surreal kind of spot in my kind of growing up into comics and the kind of things that I was into. It's strange enough. One of those things that was kind of on the text coming through. Sorry. One of those things that's kind of, even though it's in the mainstream, it's just that little bit left field because it is kind of a bizarre idea. And then to make a cartoon and make the toys and make a comic about it. This one really speaks to the mainstream weirdo inside me, buried way down. And speaking of weirdos, Ren and Stimpy. I've only got a single issue of this series, and I don't know why that is. I'm such a fan of Ren and Stimpy. Again, another cartoon that had a great impact on me growing up. So I've just got to have this series. I've got some cards from the Ren and Stimpy show as well too. So 2 issues of this. That one was number 3. And this one is number 4, and I think it went on for 20-something issues, surprisingly enough. So that's going to be fun to dig into that. You idiot! Exactly, yeah. Love Ren and Stimpy. So Adam, this stuff might appeal. Got some. I kind of put it into company here, so now we're getting into Epic and Eclipse stuff that I've kind of picked up. So I've never seen this. Epic Light from Marvel's Epic imprint. Almost looks like Ted McKeever, and I'm forgetting who it was. This one has short stories in it, kind of anthology. Again, in the app, it only came up as 1 single issue. Evan Dorkin does the cover, also does a story inside as well too. But it looks more cartoony, this particular anthology. Looks fun though. I've never seen it, and I think he had 2 copies there, even considering something you never see, which is always the joy of bin diving. You never know what kind of stuff you're going to come across there. So that's a really nice find. I don't know how realistic. I haven't looked into it, how realistic it is to uh, get every single Epic Comics release. I don't know how many they did. I think I've got my work cut out with me just for the Eclipse title. So let's just stick to that. Franz Lieber's Fafard and the Grey Mouser. Howard Chaykin, Mike Mignola, Al Williamson. This is book 1 of, I think it was 4 books. Unfortunately, he only had the first, but again, for $1, I'm going to grab it up, give it a read. I'll probably end up finding the other ones eventually. So really, really, it looks like a really great story in there as well. I've seen this one before, but for some reason, and I know for a fact, actually, not for some reason, I know for a goddamn fact it was Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor, cartoonist kayfabe, just watching those and getting into that mindset of some of these artists. All of a sudden, this particular time, it jumped out at me. Even though I've seen this series many, many times, there was something about these covers that I just couldn't pass up this time. Saxon Violins. This is a 4-issue series, again from Epic. That cover, number 2. Really great art in this. Number 3. And finally, the cover that my favorite of the bunch, this one right here. Beautiful cover. There you go. You can see that. Yeah, so there you go. So that's good. I think they had a couple of other series as well too. I don't know much about it. This is my first dive into it, so we'll find out. And again, from titles from Epic that I've never been exposed to before. Excuse me, sorry. This one's called Stalkers. Pretty fantastic cover. The number 3. Number 4. I think this one went 12 issues as well. That cover's pretty great. I like the colors on that one. And numero 5. So yeah, we'll see. I'm always willing to give that a try. Another one based on, I don't know if it was a comic first and then a cartoon. Sam and Max, Freelance Police. I know about it. Again, $1. Just things that you'll just grab just because it's $1. I don't know if I would have ever. Yeah, I think you're right, because in a couple of those there, Adam, there are cards, but it's more for what did they call it? Epic Comics heavy hitters is what it is. I think it's in the end. Yeah, I'll pop this one open. You're absolutely right though, because that's where I was familiar with it as well. Yeah, it does have it. So I guess Epic had a heavy hitters series of cards there, and I think 3 of these issues came with a card, not all 4, I don't believe. Yeah, and I guess you could find all 23 in the heavy hitters. Hello. I'm just talking to a computer. If you can hear me. I'm sorry about that. Family's home. So yes, that's where I recognize it as well, Adam, now that I'm back into my cards. More Epic Tomorrow Nights. I had one of these already. I don't remember which one. But I've only got a few of these as well too. Yeah, nothing really much to say about that one. And then tomorrow night's number 3. And tomorrow night's number 4. I saw a single issue of this, and I was just going to buy the one issue. It turns out it's a 4-issue mini-series. I couldn't find number 1, but because he ended up having 3, I was contemplating just buying the one just for the cover, but that seemed silly. So I bought the 3 that he had. This is something called Mummy's Curse from Aircel Comics. This is issue number 2, and it looks like 1990. This cover doesn't really do it for me. It's these next 2 that really made me want to grab it. This is fantastic. Black and white horror on the inside. Not the worst art, but it doesn't blow me away on the interiors. It was this cover that really, I just couldn't resist. That cover is just incredible. Really, really amazing. That real heavy black line, the colors in the water, just the colors overall in that kind of picture frame, old Marvel way. So we'll see what that's like. A series that I didn't realize they had done. I don't find Eagle Comics or what was the other one? Quality. I don't find Eagle Comics and Quality Comics too much. Quality a little more. Eagle very, very rarely. But I couldn't pass up, again, the colors on this cover. Judge Dredd, the early years. I don't remember how many. Oh, yeah, there it is. It says right there. 6-issue series. The only one that he had, but that cover is really great. So that's going to be fantastic. And another series that I don't collect at all. I'm not a fan really of Classics Illustrated. It's nothing that I really grew up with. I know that some people really grew up with this series, and I do see these all over the place. If there's one thing that's pretty easy to find, it's Classics Illustrated. I could not pass this one up because of this cover. It is The First Men in the Moon by H.G. Wells. And have a look at that. The colors are phenomenal. That alien is just stellar. So I just couldn't let it sit there. And he had a huge stack of Classics Illustrated in those bins, but none other had a cover that jumped out at me like that one. And finally, from Charlton Comics, this is Midnight Tales number 3. Again, bought it mostly for the cover. Yeah, isn't it, Adam? That Classics Illustrated is unreal. I don't remember if it said who did the cover. Let's have a look. It's not in bad shape either, considering. Yeah, no, I mean, silly of me to even think. Fall 1968. Yeah, no, it doesn't say. I'm not surprised, but there you go. It was worth a shot. You never know. The interiors aren't horrible in these things. Just nothing I'm super into. Hello? Okay. Okay. These are still from Dan as well at Thirsties, but this was quite a while ago. It's been sitting here on the to read pile. I'd love to check it out again. There was a couple of covers that really just jumped out of the bins at me, and seeing as he had how many here, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, he had 12 issues of it. I figured I'd give it a shot. It's something called Eagle, and I believe the company is Crystal. Don't have a year on the front here. Very dynamic cover there. Stuff like this is what jumped out at me when I was flipping through the bins. Covers like this. There's there's a quality to this that really appeals to me. It screams kind of 80s. Let's have a look what year we're looking at here. There you go. Yeah, 1986. And again, oh, hey, look at that. Black and white interiors. And something they're talking about Comico in here, so that'll be interesting. Again, some of the stuff that really ends up standing out to me about a lot of this stuff is kind of the letter note from the editor kind of section, or the letter section in general, just kind of giving a history of what was happening at the time. This one's got some pinups in it as well too. Yeah, it might be fun. We'll see. And then just fire through these. So 3 and 4. 5. This next one, this is another one that jumped out. This kind of garish green yellow color on it really appealed to me. Really great cover. Number 6. This one as well too. Something about, yeah, number 7. There you go. That's a beaut right there. Love it. Really great stuff. Number 8. 9. 10. So then we jump right from all that kind of sharp, crisp coloring to this. This cover is phenomenal as well too. There's something about the quality of coloring though that I don't know if it's showing up on camera as well, but in person it feels like they've done a treatment to it to make it look like it was printed on older yellowed paper. Really, really great colors on that one. The blue in the background is fantastic in person, and it really stands out against the rest of them. It's not as vibrant. It doesn't quite kind of pop like that neon coloring of the other ones. Uh, really, really great. And then finally, number 12. I don't remember how many issues that series ran, but we'll get into that one. And then to kind of end it off, a couple of more. I thought I had some more. Eclipse. Oh yeah, there's some in here. Okay, not the last ones. There's some more Eclipse in here too. And then we'll call it a day. If you're still here, great. If not, I'll keep going. Villains and Vigilantes, which I just discovered was a game as well too, an RPG. I don't know if it was just cards or what it was. I saw it on Board Game Geek. Same font, same design there. So this is a 4-issue mini from Eclipse. Yes, to which, because some of the stuff I don't always keep up with editing properly in my phone, I have 2 copies of. So I'll CGC slab 1 and keep the other one raw. Issue number 2. I'm not sure if anything came of this 4-issue miniseries afterwards. Issue number 3, but it's not the most appealing of the Eclipse stuff to me. This will be lower in the pile to eventually get to. It doesn't look mind blowing, but now that I've dedicated my life to Eclipse comics, I don't have a choice, people. I just don't. Another issue of Elric. All of this stuff might have been from cover to cover, actually. Another one they were talking about on Cartoonist Kayfabe, Strike, was a series. And what was the story with this one? I think it was there was a Daniel Clowes uh, drawn backup story in one of these issues, and I don't remember off the top of my head which issue. I've only got a few of these. Another horror anthology called Fright from Eternity Comics. The really nice cover there. Dig that one. Finally, breaking the seal on the Destroyer Duck, even though I don't think I'll ever be able to afford because what was it, the first issue, did it have, was it a Gru backup story? Was it the first or the third? I don't remember. The very first appearance of Gru, I believe. Yeah, it's the same with me. And for some reason, Adam, lately the Eclipse titles that I'm finding are stuff that I've never seen before in the city. This one I've seen before, but things like Strike, I don't know if it's due to the fact that I'm hyper focused on it, but I don't remember seeing some of the stuff out there before. So there must be a lot of people watching this channel and feeding my needs. Destroyer Duck number 4, right? Yeah, number 4. And number 5, pretty good cover on that one. The good old Funny Animal days. And then number 7. Although I don't think this one is as funny as the rest of them, but there you go. There's so many Mr. Monster out there. It's really hard to keep track, but fortunately, I didn't have this one. This is Mr. Monster Super Duper Special number 5, Super Science Atom Age Sci-Fi number 1. There you go. A lot of Mr. Monster and related titles, some that have reprints of all sorts of genres, from all sorts of companies. This particular one is an Eclipse. The New Wave, another superhero team kick at the can there. Number 1, first issue, collector's item. Number 3. So the bi-weekly, I don't have much from Eclipse that's the bi-weekly, and 50 cents even then, for something that's as thin as this is. I don't know how that went over at the time. But yeah, it's easily just half the size of a regular comic. Yeah. Just getting it out every 2 weeks, pumping it out, keeping people coming back to the shops every 2 weeks to make sure they get the latest installment of the New Wave to see what's going on. But yeah, those are very, very thin books. And I think these were from a 50-cent bin, now that I'm thinking about it. This is number 4. Number 5. Just going to fire through these ones here. Number 6. 7. And 9. So I'm guessing that 8 has something in it that I just don't know about, because the entire, up to that point, everything else was there except for number 8. So that's always my first thought. What the hell was in there that it's not available? And then jump to number 13. Another anthology, or sorry, not an anthology, my mistake. This is called Phase Extra Length First Issue Special, number 1. Another one that I've never seen before, that jumped out of the bins. Let's have a look inside. See if I'm right. Is it the same creators for both issues? This was just a 2-issue series with some very interesting interior art. Almost looks like pencil crayon. Again, one of the other guys that comes on as a guest on Cartoonist Kayfabe is Tom Scioli, and this really is reminiscent of his kind of not art style necessarily, but coloring style. There's pages in here that really remind me of something that he could have done, or that he would do rather. So it's intriguing, that interior for sure. Yeah, just I've never seen it. And then found the other one with a Glacie cover on it, which you can't go wrong. So that's issue number 2. And then for some reason sorted out of order the other 2 strike issues that I have. Issue number 1 and issue number 2. So the first 3, these are kind of on the top of the pile to kind of check them out. So that is about it. A huge dent in that Eclipse collection. I no longer have room in the boxes for the Eclipse titles, so I'm going to have to do some resorting at some point to get these all in there. That's about it that you haven't seen. There's probably a couple of stragglers, but there you go. Thanks very much for just sitting and listening to an old white guy show you stuff. Oh, you know, now that actually, because you're here, Adam, another thing that I've never seen before, but apparently a few other people hadn't seen before. John DaCosta hadn't seen them, and I think, Adam, you had a similar reaction of where the hell did those come from? I don't know if you had a look online, but I had a look on the good old eBay, and nothing popped up about those. That's as far, to be honest, that's as far as I took it. I didn't dig any deeper. I'm going to take a bit of a deeper dive to see if I can find them. The cards, as I was saying online, they're in a little rough shape, but they're amazing. Daniel was nice enough to give me these for $1 a sheet, but I've never seen these before. And while I don't have any of the magazine issues, the covers are always what jumped out at me. So it's great to have. From card number 10, we go all the way to 200 and something. So quite a substantial series. What's this last one say? 221. So a sizable series. Thanks for coming, Jackio. Read more comics, absolutely. Yeah, you have your marching orders, Kayfabers. Nope, I've never seen them, and of course, I went to eBay and also came up with nothing. Yeah, I just haven't done a deeper dig online to see what comes up. Period. When I do a search for this small type on the back there. But really, really, really great, and you can see close up there quite a few stains on some of these cards, but whatever. I hadn't seen them, and now I've got 2 sheets. The addiction continues. Right on, everybody. Thanks very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. It's been too long. It's nice to kind of talk at a computer for a little while. So I hope everybody else is doing great. Adam, let's see some videos, bud. You got to have something. When's that room tour coming? I want to see the room tour to see what you did. I've seen the photos. I want to see I want to feel like I'm there. Right on. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. We'll talk to you.